Good morning. Welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. This morning I was going to put on our supper and I thought, well, let me just show you what I'm having because so many of you are new and you may not know how to do collards. Now, collards are big leaves and they taste differently than turnip greens or kale or mustard greens or spinach. Harold likes collards better than any of them. I like them all. My mother used to cook them together sometimes, but let me show you what you're going to do first. I went out to my little raised garden this morning and I just cut off the big leaves. And I washed them real good, and now I have them in this dish pan. I like to cut this stem. You see this stem? I like to cut it off or pull it off. You can pull it. But the reason I do is, for one thing, I don't want that thicker thing in there. But then when I do, I didn't get my pan. I thought I had everything, but you know how that is. You're gonna need like a soup pot, and you're gonna fill it up and think, oh my goodness, that's too much. But collards and turnip greens cook down, and what I mean by that, if I had see how I cut those up? If I have it up to the top, I may have a half of a pot of beans, of collards. Got beans on my mind because what I've got over there on my stove cooking is a pot of soup beans. And what I have is I have pintos and northern beans mixed. Have more pintos than I do northern beans. And Mountain Cooking with Missy calls them, they call them soup beans, and I've started calling them that since they're mixed, because I used to just say I got a pot of pintos or I have a pot of northern beans. But since they're mixed, they're soup beans. And tonight we're gonna have collards, soup beans, cornbread, and fried potatoes. Now in the soup beans, I have some pieces of ham, and I'm gonna show you just a minute what I mean by that. I always save what's left of a ham after I cook it. And I don't put it all in one bag. I put it, let me show you. I got this for my collards. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's still frozen. I just got it out of my freezer. But we had ham, and the last time we had it, I divided it among several bags. This is gonna go in my collards. I had one just like that I put in my soup beans. See, I said ham, this was April of 24. So I know how old it is, but you know I use it before it gets old because it's so good to season anything with. You have to wash your greens real good after you pick them. Collards are not nearly as hard to wash as turnip greens because they grow up. Turnip greens are right along the ground, and if you ever get a rain or you have to water them, that dirt's gonna bounce up on them, and you have to wash turnip greens 3 or 4 times. If you've got a double sink, I don't have a double sink in my house here, so I would put some in a pan and then use the other side, but you wash them real good with just water, and then you put them in a clear, you know, wash them again in some more water until there's no, as my mama used to say, grit. That's the worst part about cooking turnip greens, is having to wash them so many times. But some people don't chop their collards up as much as I do. It's whatever you like, but I chop them. They're gonna cook down. They're gonna be so tender. And the way we eat them, we always have cornbread and pepper sauce. Now, some of you have asked me, what do you mean by pepper sauce? It's not Tabasco sauce. It is. I make it, and I'll show you if you haven't already seen me. In the summer, when all my peppers are in, I take, if you don't want hot pepper sauce, you can take banana peppers, and you wash them, and you can either leave them whole, cut the ends off, or put them in slices. And then you bring you some vinegar to a boil, and I put a teaspoon of salt in my quart jars, and then when that vinegar boils, I pour it over it, put my lid and ring on it, and that's your pepper sauce. Do I can mine? No. Never have it. The vinegar, it's just vinegar and salt. And I just pour a little bit over my beans, my peas. If I'm having peas, I put it over my dried butter beans. And I put it over my greens, and it is so good. Now, if you want your pepper sauce to be hot, use hot peppers. I've even made it with jalapenos. I've made it with cayenne. And this year, I have planted some cowhorn peppers. You see, that's about the size. See, my pot looks like it's filling up. And I have just a few more leaves to do. I was out cutting these this morning, and I had to watch, especially when I brought them in to wash them, because there were, well, I'm going to say some I only saw on the collard leaves themselves, 2 cicadas. Are y'all having those where you are? It's amazing. And you know, I don't know if it's just not the time yet. We can hear them, but it's not deafening. Like some people say, they're so loud it just deafens them. We can hear them. This morning when Harold and I were out on the sun porch, we opened the windows, and you could hear them outside. Don't know how much longer they're going to be around. I don't have many more of these. I hope I'm not wasting your time showing you. But this is all you do. You can buy collards in the grocery store in a can, but they're not as good as fresh. But if you don't have fresh, you definitely get you some if you've never tried them. I had somebody ask me the last time I said I showed my collards and told them I was cooking them, and somebody said, are they not bitter? Because my mama used to say they're better after it's frost, after a frost is on them. No, mine are not bitter, but now I'll tell you what I do. I put a little spoon of sugar, and I put about a couple of tablespoons of vinegar, and then that ham. Okay, let's see. I got one more. Okay. Now, I'm not going to cover these with water. Why? Because they're going to cook down. There's a little hole in that where a bug did bite it, so I got enough good parts that I'm not going to put that in it. And I'm going to put probably a cup. Let me just put some water in here and see how much I'm going to put. Okay, this is 2 cups that I put in here. Let me get my salt out. I'll show you about how much salt I'm going to put. That's about a teaspoon. It's about a teaspoon of sugar, maybe a tablespoon. I'm going to put this ham. I can tell by looking at it, this was a honey baked ham. Sean bought us one for Easter. Any kind of ham's good though. I looked in my freezer and I do have a ham that was in there, the ham bone, and I'll cook it sometimes in the soup beans. Okay, now I put 2 cups in there. I'm going to, can you see? Now, when these cook down, it'll be a good mess for Harold and Sean and Amy and me. Zach won't eat them. And I don't know if Mason will. Of course, he's a child. He wouldn't eat much. But I'll show you when we finish how much these cook down. And I will put just a little bit of vinegar. And y'all, if you will put a cup of vinegar, just sit it open by the pot you're cooking, your house won't smell as bad. Now, I'm not going to say these stink, but they have a certain odor. You know, if you've ever cooked cabbage, you know how that smells. But anyway, I'm going to put these on, and I'll show you tonight what they look like. Okay, I just wanted to show you the collards. They're so delicious, and I'll be honest with you, we ate, all of us ate, and this was what was left in the bowl. You can see the ham, it just cooked all to pieces, and it was so good. But I just wanted you to see that I did the collards and showed you how we really did enjoy them. So remember to be salt and light, and I'll be back soon.